Hello, 2025 is looking to be a pretty stacked year for films. I made a fairly large list, over 300 movies that I have some level of anticipation for, as well as some I really don't. I'm going to be starting from the ones I'm looking forward to the most. And I kind of have them tiered, nine different tiers. Um, so my first tier is just movies I'm extremely excited for. There are eight movies in this tier. I have no idea how many movies are in the other ones. I did not count. First up, we have Clara and the Sun, directed by Taika Waititi. The reason I'm excited for Clara and the Sun is because Taika Waititi is one of my favorite directors. Jojo Rabbit is in my top two favorite movies. I really liked his Thor movies, even Thor: Love and Thunder. I just think that he has an ability to balance like heartbreak and humor in a very special way. Uh, the book this is based on is written by Kazuo Ishiguro, who is a Nobel laureate for literature. So yeah, this is a movie that I am very excited for. The Battle of Bacton Cross is directed by Paul Thomas Anderson. He is mostly well known for There Will Be Blood, which was an indie film. I don't think he's ever worked with a budget bigger than $25 million. And he makes his movies look incredible despite that. He's very much an art house director, so a lot of people didn't like his most recent film, Licorice Pizza, but uh, Warner Brothers decided to give this guy $140 million to make an action movie starring Leonardo DiCaprio. So that could be something very special, especially like with that budget, with this guy who could do so much with so little. What can he do with that amount of money? The movie is set in the 80s and involves a guy being hired by the government to basically pull off a dangerous heist or something to, I think, build support for a bill that they want to pass or something like that. It has something to do with Ronald Reagan. Um, and then, yeah, so I am very excited for that one. Wake Up Dead Man, the new Benoit Blanc mystery. I love the first two. I think Ryan Johnson is an amazing writer and director, and this cast is kind of insane. I mean, all of them have been. I guess everyone just wants to work with Ryan Johnson, but I saw Josh O'Connor in Challengers this year and absolutely loved him in that. Kaylee Speeney, Andrew Scott, Glenn Close, Kerry Washington, Josh Brolin, Mila Kunis, Jeremy Renner, Daryl McCormack, Thomas Hayden Church. This is this might be the most stacked cast of the year. Wildwood, directed by Travis Knight, son of Phil Knight, the founder of Nike. Um, he's essentially just been given a crap ton of money by his billionaire dad to make whatever he wants, and he decided to set up a stop motion animation studio, and with no real care on how much money that they make, they're pumping out basically pretty close to masterpieces with Coraline and Kubo and the Two Strings. Both two of my favorite animated movies. Their next movie is Wildwood, been in the works for I think 6 years, maybe longer. And I saw a teaser for this in front of the Coraline re-release is past summer, and it looked very good. And this is just like I don't know, this is my most anticipated animated movie for the foreseeable future outside of Beyond the Spider-Verse, that's probably not coming out until 2027 at this point. Gonya, I love Poor Things. I love The Favorite. I think Emma Stone and Jesse Plemons are amazing actors. The premise of two conspiracy obsessed young men kidnapping a high powered CEO of a major company because I think she's an alien is just perfect for a Lanthimos film, and Jesse Plemons playing a conspiracy obsessed guy is perfect. He is like if you've seen Game Night, he's really good at just playing a weirdo. Marty Supreme, directed by Josh Safdie. This is Safdie's first movie in 6 years since Uncut Gems, and this is based off of Professional Ping Pong Shark. It's a true story, uh, starring Timothy Chalamet, and but apparently, the writer got bored partway through and turned it into a spy thriller. So it's been compared to The Wolf of Wall Street, and it could have been my number one movie of the year, but I am Canadian, and so I absolutely despise Kevin O'Leary. After the Hunt by Luca Guadagnino, Challengers was in my top five last year. Um, I'm hoping to see Queer sometime soon. I haven't actually seen very many of his movies. I've just seen Challengers, but Challengers is fantastic. Um, the cast again, great. Julia Roberts, Io Debris, Andrew Garfield, and I think that there's some talk that Roberts could win another Oscar for this role. There is a lot of talk about the script in Hollywood. This seems to be the most anticipated screenplay of the year. And it's a pretty like it's a setup that I think I've seen before, but it's like with a college professor and a student and accusations of assault between the student and another college professor. But um, knowing Guadagnino, this is going to be done in such a unique way. I think this is the final movie in the first tier. A Big, Bold, Beautiful Journey, directed by Kogonada. I've seen one Kogonada film, and that was After Yang, which I liked on an equal level to Challengers. After Yang, again, it's like not necessarily a new take on AI, but it's done in a new way. Um, it's very thoughtful, very emotionally charged, and this movie looks to be the same with Colin Farrell, Margot Robbie. Um, and yeah, I'm just very excited every time Kogonada's name is mentioned. We all are just going to pretend episode three of The Acolyte did not happen. Um, Second tier, so I'll probably go a little bit faster through these ones. These are just movies I'm very excited for. The Phoenician Scheme, directed by Wes Anderson. This is apparently more a new thing for Anderson, where it's um, a darker spy thriller. Apparently, Benicio del Toro is in every frame of the movie. I don't know if that's actually true or not. That's just a rumor I heard. Um, though there has been some, like, it doesn't have a distributor yet, and so a lot of people are kind of worried about it, thinking, oh, well, maybe Wes Anderson didn't transition as well to a darker story or a darker tone than he normally takes. So, but still, it's Wes Anderson with an amazing cast, and I want to see him do something new. So I'm excited for it. Avatar: Fire and Ash by James Cameron. Um, so now that the air Navi are the last surviving air Navi are with the water Navi, they're going to get attacked by the fire Navi. Um, I don't know if James Cameron has watched the other Avatar, but it's very funny. Um, Apparently this has a different plot, so that's exciting. They went with I think they invented new fire effects for the movie. So yeah, I loved the first two. They're not necessarily amazing screenplays, but like the spectacle is almost unmatched. Mother Mary by David Lowery. Um, I've seen a couple of Lowery's movies. The Green Knight is just it's one of the best crafted films I have seen. Um, the screenplay is very metaphorical, so I get that it doesn't click with a lot of people. And I don't think the screenplay 100% clicked with me the first time either. I was just in awe of like the sound design and cinematography of the movie. Um, but I have since, I guess, figured out what he was trying to do with that movie, writing wise, and I really enjoy it now. He did Peter Pan and Wendy, which was not a very well written movie, but it was a very well directed movie. And recently he's worked on a couple episodes of The Skeleton Crew, and you can tell that Skeleton Crew has a real director behind it. Um, Unlike most of the Star Wars Disney projects. So, um, this one is supposed to be extremely weird with Anne Hathaway. So, anyways, I'm just excited because David Lowery is doing something weird. He does it every couple years, uses all the money he makes from making Disney live action remakes to do this for A24. Witcher Sirens of the Deep, directed by Kang Hae Chul. Um, this is, I believe it is an animated movie. Or yeah, it is an animated movie, and it is about my favorite short story from the Witcher collections, which I read for the first time last year. This one did not get adapted into the TV show, as far as I'm aware. I only watched the first two seasons. Um, but looks like Anya Charlotte and Joey Beatty are returning. Um, and this is one it's like it's if it was just any other Witcher story, I'd probably be all the way down in like tier five. But because it's this one, this has me extremely excited. Oh, let's go back. I think Doug Cockle is the guy who plays Geralt in the video games. No Other Choice, directed by Park Chan-wook. After being unemployed for several years, a man devises a unique plan to secure a new job, eliminate his competition. Park Chan-wook directed Old Boy, and he directed Decision to Leave, The Handmaiden. Um, he is one of the most respected directors to come out of Korea. He was probably the most respected director to come out of Korea until Bong Joon-ho made Parasite. So, um, I've only seen one of his movies, Decision to Leave, and that movie essentially like reinvented editing. In my mind, like I've never seen a movie edited that way, and especially not in live action. It felt like his editing style fit animation more. Like, yeah, I don't know how he was able to do what he did with that movie. So I'm excited for No Other Choice. I mean, I'd be excited for anything he did because of like his technical skills, but this feels like maybe it's a goofier premise, but he's good at violence. The History of Sound by Oliver Hermanus. I've also only seen one Hermanus film, Living, but I really liked Living a few years ago with Bill Nye. Two young men during World War One set out to record the lives, voices, and music of their American countrymen, with Paul Mescal and Josh O'Connor playing the leads. Paul Mescal and Josh O'Connor are two of my favorite actors. Oliver Hermanus is a very good director. He's very good at getting to an emotional core of a story. Um, and this could just be like the premise is decent. So yeah, this could be a very strong, actually, this could be an extremely strong Oscar contender. Sacrifice by Romain Gavras. Um, this is a movie about Chris Evans being kidnapped by Anya Taylor-Joy and Charlie XCX. Um, Now, normally that would get pretty high because that's like, oh, that's fun. But Chris Evans hasn't made the best decisions with the movies he's gone into over the last, like, basically since this decade. Um, so I might not have held this too high up, but Romain Gavras, again, another director I've only seen one movie from, Atena, a French movie from 2022. You can watch on Netflix. It has It should have won the cinematography Oscar that year. The shots in that movie are still stuck in my mind. Watched that several years ago. It's a technical achievement in terms of like all those long takes and how he managed to pull them off with thousands of extras. So I am basically here because the premise seems fun, the cast seems fun. There's also Vincent Cassel, John Malkovich, Selma Hayek, but I'm here for the director. Good luck, have fun, don't die. Directed by Gore Verbinski. I don't know if this is coming out this year. I don't know if this is a real movie. I heard about it last minute and threw it very high on my list because Gore Verbinski. If you don't know who that is, he directed the Pirates of the Caribbean trilogy, the first. So he directed the first three, and Rango, and then he made one more movie, which is I have not seen and is apparently extremely weird, and then retired. But guess he had a new idea. I don't actually know if this is an adaptation of something or not, but a man from the future arrives at a diner in LA where he must recruit the precise combination of disgruntled patrons to join him on a one night, 6 block quest to save the world from the terminal threat of a rogue artificial intelligence. Um, so, again, interesting premise that you could do a lot with. Fantastic director. The cast includes Sam Rockwell, Haley Lou Richardson, Michael Pena, Zazie Beetz, and Juno Temple. I love Sam Rockwell. I love Haley Lou Richardson, especially her collaborations with Kogonada. So and Juno Temple is from Ted Lasso, so I'm quite excited for that. Universal Language. This is a movie that actually come out already. It's Canada's submission to the Oscars, but it hasn't actually. Sorry, I should say it's gone to film festivals already, and it's Canada's submission to the Oscars, but it hasn't actually come out yet. I missed my screening because I was doing a going to the mountains, go mountain biking, and we did the trail backwards. So we which is took an extra couple hours. So I missed my screening of this last year. So I'm very excited to see it. Finally, apparently it's quite weird. It's got some polarized audiences, but um yeah. F1 by Joseph Kosinski, his the movie everyone's going to pretend is the follow-up to Top Gun Maverick. Spiderhead isn't real, and this is basically just Top Gun Maverick with F1 cars. Brad Pitt, Kerry Condon, Javier Bardem. Um, yeah, I'm pretty excited for this. It might have like a mediocre screenplay, but the direction and the cinematography and the sound and all that are all going to be amazing. Claudio Miranda, the cinematographer, has been in like at F1 races for years at this point. I think 3 years or something like that. Just shooting the F1 races in interesting ways so that they could put actual footage of real races into this movie. Mickey 17, directed by Bong Joon Ho. I had right before I found out this movie existed, a friend was telling me about the book Mickey 7 that he really liked. Um, Apparently, there was a lot of production issues. Not necessarily like, oh, the production itself wouldn't go smoothly. It's more the studio was like, what the heck? Why are we getting a movie this weird? Meaning they didn't read the book. I thought they thought they were getting Parasite 2 essentially. But no, this is going to be a weird movie about a guy who basically clones. They clone him every time he dies, and every time he dies, they learn something new about this mysterious planet. Um, so again, it's going to be a kind of a comedy, probably a very dark comedy. This cast: Robert Pattinson, Naomi Ackie, Stephen Yeun, Tony Collette, Mark Ruffalo. Fantastic, and of course, Bong Joon Ho is the main reason to see this. Eddington, directed by Ari Aster. I've heard rumors this is actually coming out in 2026, but um, I have only seen one Ari Aster film, and that is not Hereditary or Midsommar. It is Beau is Afraid. but Was Afraid is incredibly weird, but I loved it. And Eddington, I think, might be his most normal movie. It's about yeah, it's a Western about a sheriff played by Joaquin Phoenix, but also has Emma Stone and Austin Butler and Pedro Pascal. So this could be that this is going to be a very unique movie no matter what happens because Ari Aster does not have a normal brain. Um, I think this is, if I remember correctly, he wrote this script like a decade ago, and this was going to be this was the movie that he wanted to make as his debut, but couldn't get the funding until now. It was the last of tier two. Tier three, these are movies I'm just excited for. So like the others have like an extra level of excitement. These are just movies that I think are going to be really good. Superman. I love the James Gunn's Guardians trilogy. I love the his Suicide Squad. I loved Peacemaker. Basically, I've loved everything that he's touched that I've seen, though I haven't seen a lot of his more indie superhero movies he made before Guardians. Um, I think they might go a bit harder into his more R-rated humor that I don't like as much. But yeah, I've a couple years ago I went through all the original Superman movies, and I don't actually okay. I've out of all the Superman movies I've seen the first four as well as Man of Steel. I don't think any of them are actually very good, but they all have elements of it. And so if they go back to like the Superman of those original films, combined with the I feel better direction and um better storytelling that was in Man of Steel, which is something that I don't think very many people are going to say. Um, then I think this could be fantastic. And James Gunn, I think, is he wouldn't have been my choice. Apparently, Spielberg was meeting with them at one point. I don't believe he was actually ever really in contention to direct this movie, but he would have been my pick. I think he would have done a much kind of better job with Superman than James Gunn would, just because of James Gunn's sensibilities. They don't really match Superman very well, but I can't deny that he is a super talented director. The cast is great. I love Nicholas Hoult. I just watched Juror number two today, and that was it's a decent movie, and Nicholas Hoult is fantastic in it. Nathan Fillion, I love Nathan Fillion. So yeah, The Life of Chuck won the People's Choice Award last year at Toronto. It's not coming out till this year. It could have been an Oscar contender if it released last year, but it's not going to have that People's Choice Award momentum this year. It's directed by Mike Flanagan, most known for his horror shows on Netflix, like Haunting on Hill House and Midnight Mass, Haunting at Bly Manor. Um, so this is not a horror movie. It is a Stephen King adaptation. Um, it's a guy's life told in reverse. Um, Apparently, it's very heartwarming. It's very much a crowd pleaser. Tom Hiddleston and Mark Hamill are in it. Mark Hamill was, if this movie had released last year, there was some talk Mark Hamill could get an Oscar nomination for it, which would have been really cool. Mayday, directed by Jonathan Goldstein and John Francis Daly. These guys are the guys behind Game Night and Dungeons and Dragons. Um, Game Night is one of the funniest movies I have ever seen, and the Dungeons and Dragons movie is also absolutely hilarious. Uh, so that means I am very excited for this, considering they have Ryan Reynolds, who I think is a perfect fit for them. I think they could push his humor to they could push him into a new style of humor. Um, so yeah, the premise to me doesn't seem that interesting as the cast and crew that are involved. Wicked for Good. I surprisingly really loved the first one, so I really want to see the second one. Um, There's some talk about Jonathan Bailey even getting an Oscar nomination this year. I don't think that's going to happen. I think it could happen in 2025, or I guess next year. Um, Frankenstein's Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein. I actually have never seen a Frankenstein movie. This is apparently a more accurate adaptation, a more faithful adaptation of the original book than any other Frankenstein movie we've gotten. It is written by the guy who wrote the Shawshank Redemption, Frank Darabont, as well as the first. I think he wrote the first season of The Walking Dead as well. Um, so yeah, Jacob Elordi plays the monster. Oscar Isaac plays the. Actually, I don't know if Oscar Isaac or Christoph Waltz plays the doctor, but yeah, I'm excited because it's Del Toro, it's Darabont, Felix Kammerer is in this, and David Bradley. I think David Bradley's an incredible voice actor. And then Kammerer was the lead in All Quiet on the Western Front, and I haven't seen him in anything since, so I'm happy to see him here. The Trashers, directed by Cooper Raiff. The one movie from Cooper Raiff I have seen has been um, the Cha Cha Real Smooth, which I thought was incredible. Um, his movies have always been very personal to him, so this one seems like it's going to be a little bit different. About a trash magnet. um, but David Harbour, Cooper Hoffman, Olivia DeJonge. It this like I trust Cooper Raiff to deliver a very strong movie. He might have some growing pains with a bigger movie, but we'll see. Materialists, directed by Celine Song. Uh, Past Lives was amazing. Um, it hurts a lot. The screenplay is so good. The Materialist is a rom com with a very normal premise for a rom com, with a very normal cast for a rom com with Dakota Johnson, Chris Evans, and Pedro Pascal. But it's got Celine Song directing and writing it, which means it's probably going to be a little bit more. It's probably going to be like mellowly vicious, or not vicious, not the right word, brutal. Um, so I'm excited. Predator Badlands. I've loved Prey. Dan Trachtenberg is back. Um, Said to be set in the future with Elle Fanning. Love Elle Fanning. Future Predator. That sounds awesome. Yeah, I'm sold. This untitled comedy from the South Park people and Kendrick Lamar about a black man interning as a slave reenactor at a living history museum who finds out his white girlfriend, played by Chloe East's ancestors, once owned his. Chloe East is from Heretic. She was um, the more naive girl. So, yeah, the premise very interesting. I like Chloe East in Heretic and in The Fablemans. And this creative team is odd in a good way. So yeah, I'm excited. Ballerina. I think Anna de Armas should be an action star. She was so good in No Time to Die. And I feel like she elevated a pretty weak role in The Gray Man. Um, so yeah, very excited. Lance Reddick, I believe this is his final role that he passed away about a year and a half ago. Um, year and a half. Yeah, no, it's almost 2 years ago now. But this movie was shot a very long time ago and had to go through some extensive reshoots. Len Wiseman is not a particularly respected director. Apparently, re like he's the action scenes were not great, and they reshot them all um, with a bigger budget. So yeah, Play Dirty. Shane Black. I really, really like The Nice Guys. Um, he hasn't directed a movie since the disaster that was the 2018 Predator. Um, this seems to be more in the lane of Kiss Kiss Bang Bang and The Nice Guys, so I think this is more his wheelhouse. Yeah. Black Bag, directed by Steven Soderbergh. Um, he has since he like made blockbusters in the early 2000s, like Ocean's 11 and all that. He's been making a lot of like smaller movies that I think are like that he's trying to do something interesting. Like he's only doing projects that maybe they don't necessarily narratively interest a lot, but like they're made in a unique way. Um, Black Bag looks like his most normal movie in a bit. Um, about secret agents and stuff. Kate Blanchett, Michael Fassbender, Regé Jean Page, Pierce Brosnan is in this. So yeah, I'm excited because I think Soderbergh is a really good director. Tier four. These are movies I'm excited for, but there's something holding it back, or it's a movie I'm not too excited for, but there's something really, really interesting about it. Mission Impossible 8. Yeah. I really liked 4, 5, and 6. I thought 7 was pretty weak. Um, so we'll see if they can get back on track with the eighth and possibly final movie. The action will probably be crazy. The budget on this is insane. It's going to lose so much money at the box office. It's only going to make like 7 or 800 million, and I think it's going to need to hit 1 billion to make money. Um, so yeah. Um, Hamnet, directed by Chloe Zhao. Chloe Zhao directed Nomadland, which won best director and also won best picture. And then it also yeah, she directed The Eternals, and I thought Nomadland I don't think should have won best picture, but it absolutely deserved best director. It's one of those movies where it's like, oh, this is a very much a directing achievement, even if I wasn't too hot on the movie itself. Whereas The Eternals is a movie I am more of a defender of because it just felt so epic, and it felt like she was having a lot of fun making that movie. I get that it probably would have been a lot better if it had just been told chronologically instead of like jumping around all over the place. And there are way too many characters, but I don't really put that on Zhao. Um, yeah, this is about Agnes Shakespeare and who is Shakespeare's wife after their son dies. It's not necessarily a true story. Um, it'll probably be like historically authentic, but I believe it's based off of a novel that I don't believe is necessarily like narratively accurate, but it is supposed to be quite good. Jesse Buckley and Paul Mescal. Again, I love both of those actors. The Roses, directed by Jay Roach. There is a lot of buzz about this movie. It is written by Tony McNamara, who wrote Poor Things. And it's, I think, a soft remake of a Danny DeVito movie from like 40 years ago. So, yeah, Benedict Cumberbatch and Olivia Colman play a couple whose relationship is based on wealth. So when one of them loses their job, their relationship starts to unravel. Also, Andy Samberg is in this. I didn't realize that until looking at this just now. The only reason this isn't higher is I'm not familiar with Jay Roach, and I haven't nothing that he hasn't made a movie that I have been like actually that interested in seeing before. How to Train Your Dragon live action remake by Dean DeBois. He did an amazing job with the animated movies, and I'm of the opinion that the first one is the best of the animated movies. Um, so I'm excited for this. I think Mason Thames is perfect for Hiccup. Gerard Butler is obviously perfect for um, but why can't I remember his name? The dad. um, and Nico Parker. I think she's like a really good actress for this role. Like, like a bunch of people are mad that she isn't blonde, which considering Astrid's blonde hair is like a kind of a big thing. Um, I get that, but I think she'll do really well in the role at least. Um, yeah. So this is one of the very few live action remakes I'm actually quite excited for. Um, the only hesitation I actually have is that I don't think Dubois ever worked on a live action movie before. I don't think he's ever directed like actors in person before. Um, so this movie could be that might a little bit more rough around the edges, but I think this is also a story that adapts really well to live action, and and I'd love to see like we've seen Toothless in the trailers, and he looks exactly the same as he does in the show, like in the animated versions. I like to see what they do with the other dragons as well. Ephus, directed by Carson Lund. Tiny baseball movie. It is supposed to be very good. It's supposed to be extremely like interestingly well written. It's like a screenplay movie. So I'm excited for it. I've heard very, very good things. Highest to Lowest, the new Spike Lee film. It's an adaptation of Akira Kurosawa's High and Low with Denzel Washington. Um, my I mean, Spike Lee is a great director. I love Black Klansman, but I have a little bit of a hang up is that last time he directed an adaptation of an Asian film was 2013's or 2012, whenever that came out, Old Boy, which I have not seen, but is apparently a complete disaster. 77 Blackout with Mahershala Ali and Tom Hardy, directed by Cary Joji Fukunaga. He directed the No Time to Die, the last James Bond movie, which I think is the best James Bond movie and certainly the best directed one. Um, so yeah, I'm just excited to see him do another kind of like actiony movie. He hasn't made anything since then that I know about. He also did the first season of True Detective, which apparently is incredible. Um, yeah, I'm excited for this. Thunderbolts, asterisk, directed by Jake Schreier, the guy behind Beef. Um, this is the MCU movie I'm most excited for. Again, MCU has not exactly been on a hot streak. I'm one of the few people who don't seem to have thought Deadpool and Wolverine was a big upgrade over anything else that they've made recently. In fact, I think it's one of the weaker movies that they've made recently. Um, but Thunderbolts looks exciting. I thought the trailer looked great. I love this cast, and these characters are it's all like all the lovable side characters, as well as a bunch of side characters I forgot existed, um, coming together to be essentially the MCU's version of the Suicide Squad. And I love that Lewis Pullman is in this movie playing Bob again after his appearance as Bob in Top Gun Maverick. Um, Rental Family, directed by Hikari. Hikari makes a lot of weird, experimental stuff. I think this is her first feature film, but the premise: a down and out actor living in Tokyo is hired as a token American guy for a Japanese rental company, leading him on an unexpected journey of self discovery through the roles he plays in other people's lives. That's a unique premise. With Brendan Fraser playing the token American guy, and Takahiro Hira is in this. You might know him as playing the president of Japan in literally any movie. He's also Lord Ishido in Shogun, who is effectively the president of Japan. Sinners, directed by Ron Coogler. I really like Ryan Coogler's Black Panther movies. I like Michael B. Jordan. I didn't realize Haley Steinfeld was in this movie. I didn't see her in the trailer. Wunmi Musaku. Um, that's awesome to see her in something outside of the Loki show. Um, yeah, this is apparently a vampire movie. I didn't see any vampirism in the trailer. It just looks awesome. Um, yeah. Is This Thing On, directed by Bradley Cooper. No one knows what this movie is, but it's written by Will Arnett, who is a funny guy. And Bradley Cooper, I thought, directed the heck out of Maestro. So, yeah. Separate Rooms, directed by Luca Guadagnino. Actually, I should go back. I don't know why Sinner should probably be in a tier up. This should be in tier three. I don't really have any hangups about this movie. I don't know why it's down this low. Separate Rooms, directed by Luca Guadagnino. Fleeing from the Yeah, this movie is I don't know if this movie has been shot yet. I sounds like it isn't. This could be like a 2027 movie, but I don't know. It's Luca Guadagnino. My only hang up is that I don't know if it exists or not. Josh O'Connor, I know they worked great together on Challengers. Léa Seydoux is probably my favorite French actor. So yeah, Caught Stealing, directed by Darren Aronofsky. Um, Austin Butler plays a basically a criminal baseball player. Um, Aronofsky directed The Whale a couple years ago, which I loved. I haven't seen any of his other stuff, and this is so different from The Whale. I can't say that I know I'm going to like this as much, but I like Austin Butler. It feels like Butler saw Brendan Fraser win that Oscar for The Whale and wanted to work with the guy who won Brendan Fraser the Oscar so that he could get one. But this seems more of a genre movie, so I don't know if Butler's actually going to get that attention. Wolfman, directed by Leigh Whannell. Trailers have been mediocre, but Leigh Whannell directed The Invisible Man, which was an amazing movie. I also really liked Upgrade, this movie from 2018. Um, if you don't know who Leigh Whannell is, he's the guy who wrote the original Saw movie um, with James Wan. But I like him better as I like his new movies better. Christopher Abbott, great actor. Julia Garner, great actress. And yeah, so The Magnificent Life of Marcel Pagnol, directed by Sylvain Chomet. Um, it's a biopic about a celebrated artist. Um, Not really my thing, except that it's directed by Sylvain Chomet, who is a two-time Oscar nominee for animated film. Because he only releases a movie like every 10 or 15 years, and I guess his movies are fantastic, but I have yet to see one. Moonglow, directed by Isabel Sandoval. I really liked Isabel Sandoval's work on Under the Banner of Heaven. Um, I haven't seen her direct actually a feature film before, hence why it's this like all the way down in the fourth tier. But the premise about a police officer who is the mastermind behind a heist is paired up, but basically is investigating her own heist. I think that's an interesting premise. I think Sandoval is a really good director. So yeah, Silent Friend, directed by Adiko and Yeti. Um, the only things I know about this movie is it looks like it's the Beast 2.0. It even has Leia Seydoux. Tells three stories over the course of 100 years. That's what the Beast is with Leia Seydoux. But also has Tony Leung in it. So um, yeah, I thought the Beast was very boring, but I thought it was very interesting. So the Silent Friend could be the same, and even if it is the same, even if I find this movie as boring as I found the Beast, it would still end up being worth the watch just because of how interesting and how much the Beast made me think afterwards. Lilo and Stitch, directed by Dean Fleischer Camp, another live action remake that I'm actually excited for, almost entirely because of Dean Fleischer Camp. He directed Marcel the Shell with Shoes On, which is like a similar kind of like tone of film of like, oh, cute little guy. I think he's a perfect fit for this film, so that's why I am excited for it. Legend of Ochi, directed by Isaiah Saxon. Never seen anything by Saxon. Don't. This might actually be his. I think this might be his debut. Apparently, this took 6 years to film because they were shooting it all in the. Like they're shooting it all practically in like in Scandinavia. I can't remember which country this comes from. Um, and they just like needed the perfect weather for some of their landscape shots and stuff. I saw the trailer and it actually looks fairly stylized in terms of like the coloring or the color grading. So yeah, I think the trailer looks very good. Um, it's unlikely to be a masterpiece, but it's almost certainly going to be just a very fun little movie. In the Blink of an Eye, directed by Andrew Stanton, the guy behind Finding Nemo. Um, Doing another epic sci-fi drama. His last time he did this was John Carter, which didn't end very well. We'll see if this one ends up doing better. Andrew Stanton is clearly a talented director. I don't know if Kate McKinnon is the person I would pick to lead a sci-fi drama, but like maybe she can prove that. I mean, maybe she has proven that she's a dramatic actress, and I just haven't looked at her filmography close enough. There's a actor named Skywalker in this movie. The Ballad of a Small Player, directed by Edward Berger. He directed All Quiet on the Western Front and Conclave, so he is just a very competent director. Um, he's going to win like a career Oscar in 15 years because he's just going to keep churning out these 8 out of 10 movies. Um, yeah, it's a cool enough premise. Colin Farrell and Tilda Swinton, I love them both. Um, Tilda Swinton, I think she might. I feel like if you were to go to like Generations, it's like Meryl Streep and then Tilda Swinton, and then it's like Saoirse Ronan and Jodie Comer for best actors in the world. Because Tilda Swinton is incredible in everything she does. She's just acting circles around everybody else. Like she almost, including her, makes your movie worse because she's just so much better than everyone else that it makes it feel like the rest of the movie just isn't as good. Like it's like, oh, you realize that she's too good for this movie, and which makes you think the movie isn't as good as it might be. Um, Anyways, I'm excited to see that. It's not a very well rated book that he's adapting, but neither was Conclave, and Conclave turned out pretty fine. The Running Man, directed by Edgar Wright. I don't know actually anything about the book, the original movie, but Edgar Wright and Glenn Powell seems like a pretty cool pairing. In the Hand of Dante, directed by Julian Schnabel. Schnabel makes very artsy films, so it might not be for everybody, but he's been working on this movie for 14 years with Oscar Isaac, Gal Gadot, Jason Momoa, Gerard Butler, Al Pacino, John Malkovich, and Martin Scorsese. Um, and it seems to tell a dual story between Dante writing his Divine Comedy as well as a black market smuggling ring in New York City hundreds of years later. Um, but a guy who steals the original manuscript or something like that. It's like I'm very interested in it. I was worried that this would be extremely artsy for general audiences, like general audiences wouldn't respond to it. But that is a very mainstream cast, so or cast, so could be very, very good. The Twilight World, directed by Werner Herzog. Herzog's a weirdo. This is his first animated film. Um, I am interested to see how his guerrilla style of filmmaking translates to animation. Tony, directed by Matt Johnson. I don't know anything about Anthony Bourdain, but I love Matt Johnson's work on Blackberry and Dominic Sessa's work in Holdovers, and I feel like they're a perfect match for each other. They have the same um, anxious energy to them that I think could make a really good pairing. I don't know if this is coming out this year or not, but if it does, this could be A24's Oscar push. Huntington, directed by John Patton Ford. I really liked Emily the Criminal, his debut. His second movie, Glenn Powell, again, Margaret Qualley, Ed Harris, Jessica Hennick. Um, yeah, this seems like a perfect role for Glenn Powell as a more villainous role, which I think he needs to take. I think audiences are going to eventually get tired of him if he's just constantly like a hero or whatever. So taking a villain role like this could be pretty good for his career. So that's the end of the movies I am. Don't know why I took a water halfway through a sentence. I think that's the end of the movies that I am excited but have some sort of caveats. These are ones I'm somewhat excited for. So there might be ones that, oh, I think that's a really cool premise, but there isn't enough talent surrounding it to be um for me to be that excited for, or maybe it's vice versa. Untitled Cameron Crowe Joni Mitchell project. Or it could be a movie like this, and I have no clue what the fudge this is. I don't This is supposed to come out in December. Directed by Cameron Crowe, who hasn't made a movie in a while. written by him and Joni Mitchell. Um, Described as an unconventional biopic. The stuff I've been hearing about it is on the good side. Saoirse Ronan and Meryl Streep could be playing Joni Mitchell. That is fantastic. Um, on the other side, it hasn't officially been cast yet, and it's coming out this year. Also, apparently, it's supposed to be extremely weird. So it's a movie that I think I'll pretty much for sure see, but I am hesitant to say it's going to come out this year. Magic Farm, directed by Amalia Ullman. Um, yeah, no, I don't really have much to say about this movie. Actually, this should probably be a little bit lower. The Bride, directed by Maggie Gyllenhaal. I guess this is a musical adaptation of The Bride of Frankenstein from the 30s. Um, Jesse Buckley plays the bride. Christian Bale plays the monster. Um, Great cast. I love John Magaro. And I haven't seen anything from Maggie Gyllenhaal. I know The Lost Daughter is supposed to be very good, but it's supposed to be extremely different from this. So we'll see. It's apparently coming out like at the same time as Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein too. So Weapons, directed by Zach Cregger. He did Barbarian a couple years ago. And there was a bidding war over this movie that went so intensely that uh, when Jordan Peele lost the bidding war to Warner Brothers, he fired his management team for losing that deal because he wanted it so badly. Um, yeah. Um, this movie, I know it says 2026, but there is a lot of talk that it could have a limited run in 2025 to qualify for awards. It's a horror movie, so I don't know if it's actually going to do that, but I'm keeping on the list just in case. Sentimental Value, directed by Joaquin Trier. Never seen any of Trier's other films, but this is his follow up to Worst Person in the World, which is a movie that I have almost watched so many times and just end up picking something else for some reason, despite the fact that it is pretty clearly a movie that is I'm going to really like. Um, yeah, Stellan Skarsgård, Renata Reinsve, Elle Fanning, great cast. The premise, like like I know it's a long paragraph, but like you actually need the paragraph to understand what the premise is. It's a kind of a complicated premise, but um, yeah, I'm excited for it. Heads of State, directed by Ilya Naishuller. He directed Nobody with Idris Elba, another action movie with Idris Elba and John Cena. Odd Couple comedy. Yeah, well, I don't know if it's a comedy, but it says Odd Couple and it's Idris Elba and John Cena in it, so I assume this is an action comedy. So, anyways, I'm signed up for that. Miroir numéro trois, directed by Christian Petzold. Um, this is this is a movie I know very little about. The premise is kind of intriguing. I've never seen a Petzold film, which is why it's not higher, because I've heard Petzold's movies are fantastic and for me. Paper Tiger, directed by James Gray. I have seen one James Gray film, and that is Ad Astra, which Um, if I'd watched it on the big screen, might have been an 8 out of 10, but I watched it on like a plane, so it was like a 6 out of 10. Um, he somehow gets big budgets to make super artsy films that nobody watches. Um, so I think this could be very, very good. Okay, it's almost certainly going to be very, very good. It's just what case of like, is it for me? Type thing, because his movies tend to be very slow paced. And I'm okay with slow pacing and stuff. So normally, yeah, Dime Love, directed by Lynn Ramsey. I've never seen a Lynn Ramsey film. Again, another director who might be for me, but she's kind of polarizing. Um, the critics really love her. Audiences are really confused by her. This was shot near where I live, with Jennifer Lawrence and Robert Pattinson. So yeah. 42.6 years, directed by Craig Gillespie. I am a defender of Cruella. Um, This premise is also like very much a fun premise for Andy Samberg to play. So I'm excited. R.I.P. Directed by Joe Carnahan. He's a pretty great action director. Matt Damon, Ben Affleck, Tiana Taylor, Sasha Kaye. I think I'm glad Tiana Taylor's getting another big role. This is produced by I think Damon and Affleck's company, so so it was made ethically. That's kind of their big thing is they make all their movies ethically, which most movies are not done. Um, so yeah, The King of Kings. This is the first of many Jesus movies. This is about Charles Dickens telling his son the story of, I guess, Jesus Christ's life. Um, it's animated by an animation veteran, Jong Song Ho. Um, yeah, I can't remember what he worked on previously. I had it in my head earlier. This is the highest, not just because of the cast. I love to see Roman Griffin Davis after Jojo Rabbit, but because this something about this feels like it might be one of the more earnest retellings or earnest tellings of it. Like it has a little bit of a twist to it to mark it to separate it from other retellings of the story. And it also feels like a lot of like Christian films are kind of made fairly cynically. Like it's like, oh, we don't have to put effort into this because a Christian audience is going to show up for it. And this seems like it's made with a little bit more effort. April, directed by D. Columbishvili. Nope, I messed that up. Dea Kulumbagashvili. Um, it's an abortion drama set in Georgia. It's supposed to be quite good and very slow, and apparently there's only like 15 shots in the entire movie. They're all very long takes. The Gorge, directed by Scott Derrickson. Um, I like Scott Derrickson's Doctor Strange movie. I'm otherwise unfamiliar with his work. It's mostly horror stuff. This might be a horror movie, but it feels to be a little bit more like I'm not a horror guy at all. So this seems to be more like a more accessible to non-horror-y people. I haven't seen the trailer. Apparently it spoils the entire thing. Um, but I think it's about two snipers watching like the entrance to hell or something. But Anya Taylor-Joy and Miles Teller. I like Anya Taylor-Joy. I like Miles Teller. I think Scott Derrickson's a pretty good director. Um, yeah. Oh, I should mention why it's so far back. I've seen test screening results and they were kind of just okay. That's why it's not higher. Alpha Gang, directed by the Zellners. The Zellners are weirdos. They made The Curse. They made Sasquatch Sunset. It's about aliens who are living on Earth, trying to conquer us or something. I don't know. Kate Blanchett, Dave Bautista, Steven Yeun, Zoe Kravitz, Lea Seydoux, Riley Keough, Channing Tatum. This isn't higher because I don't think the Zellner's methods, like the way they directed movies and stuff, I don't think it really works for me. But I like this premise and I like this cast, so I'll probably still give it a shot. Oh, What Fun, directed by Michael Showalter. Showalter has made a lot of very like he makes tear jerkers and crowd pleasers. Um, and yeah, the movie with Michelle Pfeiffer in the lead and Dominic Sessa showing up again. I love that he's getting work considering I think he's just some random kid who went to the school that they shot the holdovers in, and then auditioned and he never acted before and he was amazing in the holdovers and should have gotten an Oscar nomination for that. And I'm so happy he's getting roles like lead roles and stuff now. Um, yeah, the Fantastic Four: First Steps. Mainly excited for this one because Matt Shackman. I am not really a Fantastic Four guy, but Matt Shackman is. There was a bidding war over him between them and Paramount, and he did some really good work in on WandaVision. He wasn't the showrunner for that, but he was a director. I also really just like Pedro Pascal and Evan Moss Baccarat. Ralph Ineson as the villain is going to be fantastic. I did not realize Natasha Lyonne is in this. That is also very good. I Love Boosters, directed by Boots Riley. He directed Sorry to Bother You. So I haven't seen that, but apparently it's one of the weirdest movies and my friends have seen, so I really want to see it. This was probably also going to be extremely weird, so I'm this is just this far back because I don't know if Boots Riley is for me or not yet, just because I haven't seen any of his stuff yet. The Naked Gun, directed by Akiva Schaffer, who I think he's one of the Lonely Island guys. Um, but Liam Neeson, Pamela Anderson. Um, I haven't seen the other Naked Gun movies. Maybe I should watch them before watching this. But I've heard Liam Neeson is actually quite a funny guy, and it's actually a really good fit for this. Bad Guys 2 by Pierre Perifet. I like the first Bad Guys. I think the art style is pretty good. I think the story was pretty fun. The characters are got fun. Sam Rockwell is pretty good. Um, the new one, I haven't been sold on it, but adding Danielle Brooks and Maria Bakalova and Natasha Lyonne to it, um, yeah, that's good. Um, Last Breath, directed by Alex Parkinson, who directed a documentary about the same subject this is based on, which is basically about some people trapped in a submarine with only 5 minutes of oxygen, but it's 30 minutes until rescue. Apparently, there's an annoying guy named Dave in it who is played by Simu Liu. Um, September 5. This came out last year. It's probably going to get an Oscar nomination, at least one for screenplay. Got John Margaro, so I want to see it. Presence, directed by Steven Soderbergh. Um, it's a movie told. It's a haunting movie told entirely from the perspective of the ghost. Apparently, this movie is not a horror movie. It's like a drama, but like you're seeing it from the perspective of a ghost, and so it's kind of like more unsettling. Speaking of, I mentioned there's someone named Skywalker. There's someone named West Mulholland in this. Companion, directed by Drew Hancock. Don't know who that is, but I saw Sophie Thatcher in Heretic, and I thought she was fantastic there. Um, Seen the trailer. I think the trailer is also pretty interesting. Blue Moon, directed by Richard Linklater. This is Linklater's first of two movies. I think the other movie is actually probably more interesting than me to me, but the other movie also, I think, there it doesn't have a distributor, which doesn't bode well for it. Blue Moon, Ethan Hawke, Margaret Qualley. Ethan Hawke works really well with Linklater, so they'll probably be pretty good. Heads or Tails, where John C. Riley plays Buffalo Bill, um, in a movie set in Italy. It's an Italian movie. So, um, yeah, I just read a book that Buffalo Bill was in, White Devil and sorry, The Devil in the White City. So that actually put this a little bit higher up. Anne Lee, directed by Mona Fastvold, who worked with Brady Corbet on The Brutalist. I haven't seen The Brutalist yet. It hasn't come to my city yet, but I've heard incredible things. This is written by Fastvold and Corbet, and it's directed by Fastvold. This could like this could be another Brutalist, though I don't think this has the same um, scale as the Brutalist because I think it's more focused story. It doesn't take place over like 30 years or something. Lewis Pullman, love Lewis Pullman, Amanda Seyfried, Christopher Abbott, and Thomasin McKenzie, who's another actress from Jojo Rabbit. I love. Also loved her in Leave No Trace. The Coral. This is a movie that is going to get a whole bunch of BAFTA nominations. Don't know much about Nicholas Heitner, but Ray Fiennes is in it. So Jim Broadbent. Um, Captain America: Brave New World, directed by Julius Ona. Julius Ona has the most hit and miss record you can have. He's directed two movies prior to this, one of which is terrible and one of which is really good. Um, I thought the trailer looked pretty fun, but there all the rumors like around the reshoots and stuff don't. They kind of hold it back a little bit. The Long Walk, directed by Francis Lawrence. Based off a book. The premise I don't think is particularly interesting. I am here because Roman Griffin Davis from Jojo Rabbit. Yay! Also Francis Lawrence directing. I've loved his work on the last couple. I especially loved his work on Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. I thought he made that movie so much better than it could have been. Mark Hamill's is too. Yay! Hope, directed by Na Hong Jin. I haven't seen The Wailing, and horror's not my thing, but he's making a new movie. I think this might be his first movie since then, with Michael Fassbender and Alicia Vikander. So, yeah, Good Fortune, directed by Aziz Ansari. This is here because Keanu Reeves plays an angel who isn't very good at angeling. The Memory Police, directed by Rein Morano. This is written by Charlie Kaufman, the writer behind Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. Um, but this is a very cool premise. Lily Gladstone is in it, and but the reason it's lower is two reasons. One is I don't think this has been shot yet. I don't think it's coming out this year. And Reed Morano has a hit and miss record as a director. Eleanor the Great, directed by Scarlett Johansson. The reason this is, I mean, I don't have no idea how good Scarlett Johansson is at directing. She's never directed anything before. The premise, eh. June Squibb, that's why this is in tier 5 and not lower. I love June Squibb. She's like 95. And finally, this is her second lead role. Her first lead role was last year in Thelma, and she was so good in Thelma. Warfare, Alex Garland's new movie. Um, it kind of like in terms of writing, it's going to just probably just be a generic war film, but it's going to be. I think the direction is going to be the difference because Ray Mendoza and Ray Mendoza, I think, was involved in this operation that they are portraying, and Alex Garland is a great action director, as shown at the end of Civil War. And this cast: Farrah Wunatai, Charles Melton, Joseph Quinn, Kit Connor, Will Poulter, Noah Centineo, who was here, Michael Gandolfini. This is a really stacked cast of like young men who are like young male actors. So it'll probably be pretty. It'll probably be pretty gripping. Crime 101, directed by Bart Layton. Um, this screams average crime movie direct to streaming, except Barry Keoghan is in it. I don't think Barry Keoghan does that. So this could be something a little bit weirder, or at least Barry Keoghan's role will probably be pretty out there. The Way of the Rin, directed by Terrence Malick. I have seen one Terrence Malick film, and I didn't love it. Knight of Cups. Um, Now he's direct adapting the New Testament. Apparently, he's been working on this movie since 2019. Well, it was shot in 2019, um, and he's been in the editing room ever since. And they shot like 600 hours of footage for it. It is largely improvised, um, which is a unique way of adapting the New Testament. And Mark Rylance plays Satan. So, yeah, the drama, directed by Christopher Borgli. Um, it's another movie where we know absolutely nothing about. We're here because Zendaya and Robert Pattinson. Borgli, I think, competently made Dream Scenario, but this I think is a more normal movie, so I don't know how he'll adapt to that. Catherine Bigelow has a new movie that I know nothing about, but Rebecca Ferguson is in it, and she's very good. Um, Bigelow, I haven't seen anything by her, but she's a competent director. The cast is pretty solid. The writer is a huge question mark. Nouvelle Vague, Richard Linklater's new film, full production of Jean-Luc Godard's Breathless, with Zoe Dutch. Um, yeah, so I'm kind of excited for this. I haven't seen Breathless, but it's been put on my radar. I mean, this has been put on my radar a long time ago, but I need to see it, and this movie might force me to see it. Jay Kelly, directed by Noah Baumbach. I don't know why I'm not excited for this movie. The cast is great. Noah Baumbach is great. He's a great writer. This is either a big Oscar player or it's going to be very personal and small. Sorry, baby. Something bad happened to Agnes, but life goes on for everything on around her at least. Um, don't know anything about this movie other than it is being produced by Barry Jenkins and Adele Romansky, and they have a pretty freaking good track record of producing with movies like Moonlight and Aftersun. The Smashing Machine, the other Safdie movie, Uncut Gems, but or was it no, UFC with Dwayne Johnson, trying to do a serious role. If he's good, this could save his career. Um, Here's six. There is something here. There is something good here. So this is where I'm going to probably go speeding through a lot faster. On Becoming a Guinea Fowl. It actually came out last year in some places, but hasn't come out in Canada yet. Um, this was it Zambia? Yeah, Zambia. Zambian movie. It's supposed to be quite good. Opus. I haven't seen the trailer. This might be going up after I see the trailer. Iowa Debris, great. No idea who the director is, but the premise is fun, and I love Io Debris. The Things You Kill, it's a Turkish film that just like has an interest, like a cool premise. Megan 2.0, it is Megan 2.0. I like Megan. I don't think it needs a second one, but I'll take it. Wait, is that Ivana Sakno? Oh, that's awesome. From Ahsoka, she plays one of the Dark Jedi. Light of the World. This is another Jesus movie. So Jesus movie number three. And Passion of the Christ 2 is not going to be on this list because Mel Gibson has not started shooting that movie, as I found out. It was originally on the list, and then right before I started recording, I found out he hasn't started work on it yet. So, Light of the World. This is from the Veggie Tales people, so at least it'll be like truthful to them, to their faith. So, Until Dawn, an adaptation of the video game, or I guess think it's a new story in the but David F. Sandberg. I thought he did a solid job with the first Shazam movie. Second Shazam movie I thought was bad, but I think he did a solid job with the first one. Love Hurts. No idea who Jonathan Eusebio is, but I love Ki Hui Kwan, and so I've seen the trailer. Trailer looks okay, but Ki Hui Kwan lead role, good. Nobody 2, directed by Timo Tjahjanto. I think he's an Indonesian action director. The Governesses, directed by Joe Talbot. Um, Lily Rose Diet. Ugh, Lily Rose Depp. I don't know who Ho Yeon is, and Renata Reinsva, so it could be pretty good. Joe Talbot has a pretty good record. I can't remember off the head what else he made, but I remember I've seen one of his movies and I really, really liked it. Havoc, directed by Gareth Evans. This is the guy behind The Raid, making a movie with Tom Hardy. Haven't seen The Raid, but I've heard of good things and I like Tom Hardy. Switzerland, directed by Anton Corbijn. About Patricia Highsmith um, with Helen Mirren. Um, Acorns. This probably is not coming out this year. Directed by J.J. Abrams. Don't know enough about it to actually get excited yet, but Glenn Powell, Jenna Ortega, Emma Mackey, and Samuel Jackson makes it, yeah, at least somewhat exciting. Disappearance. Um, this is about Joseph Mengele, the Angel of Death in Nazi Germany, um, following his life in South America after he escapes from Germany and never got captured. But Kirill Serebrennikov, I haven't seen any of his movies. Apparently, he's a fairly fun director. He's not. He's kind of hit and miss in terms of the actual quality, but like he's always doing something. Faces of Death, directed by Daniel Goldhaber. He directed How to Blow Up a Pipeline, and is pretty good at these like high intensity indie films. Eden, directed by Ron Howard. I like Ron Howard. The story looks interesting. The cast is great. Felix Kammerer, and Ana de Armas. But a lot of the people I know who have seen this movie have not been impressed with it. But it's finally coming out in Canada this year. So, American Nails, Abel Ferrara's new movie. Um, Abel Ferrara, I can't name anything he's done off the top of my head, but he was a big name director in like the 90s and 80s. Willem Dafoe is in it, and it's a gangster movie. So, Manuel, directed by Audrey Dewan. This was a movie that was, before anyone watched any movies last year, this was like the front runner for international feature. Um, Before getting pushed out by another French film, Emilia Perez. Apparently, this movie is not very good, which is unfortunate as a follow up to Dewan's other movie. But maybe, I was going to say, maybe general audiences will treat it better than the festival audiences, but I don't think that's going to be true. Still, Dewan, Noe Mara, it, it'll probably have something. To the Edge of Sorrow, but directed by Chris. For like this would have been in like tier three last year, but To the Edge of Sorrow, directed by Christian Mungiu. He's directed a couple pretty well respected films out of Romania. Is it Romania? I think it's Romania. Um, yeah, but I haven't actually seen any of them. Dry Leaf. I do not know what this is. Dracula Park. Raju Jude, he makes weird movies. Um, Make Dracula Great Again. Cool. That I want to. I don't know what this is. This director, that premise, eh, it'll probably be very fun. Um, but I don't know enough about it. Wake of Umbra, don't know anything about it. Belly of the Beast, oh, Andrew Hay with Ben Stiller and Colin Farrell. Premise interesting, cast good. Andrew Hay is a good director. I liked, but I feel like I'm just a lot lower on him than everybody else. Like in terms of All of Us Strangers, I thought that was a good but not great movie. But a lot of people were really raving about it. And I don't know if just like the discrepancy between how much I like Hay and everybody else likes Hay, um, is making me think of this a lot lower. Okay, so the Spider Women, directed by Bill Condon, director of Dreamgirls and writer of Chicago. He is very much a guy who's known for making very good musicals. Um, Premise is interesting. Um, yeah, I just haven't seen any of his stuff, and a bad musical, like if the musical numbers aren't good enough, then this could be quite disaster. Hamlet, modern day Hamlet. This is from the team that won Riz Ahmed the best short film Oscar a few years ago. I think it's Hamlet set in modern day with Riz Ahmed and Morfydd Clark. The entertainment system is down. Ruben Ostlund directed Triangle of Sadness, which I thought the first two thirds were hilarious, and then I felt like it fell off a cliff in the third act. So I'm happy to give him a second chance here. Keanu Reeves, Samantha Morton. I love Samantha Morton. She is an incredible character actor. She's almost as good as Tilda Swinton. Um, The Lost Bus, directed by Paul Greengrass. If this was from anyone else, it'd probably be even a few tiers lower. Um, but oh, hold on a second. My computer was messing up there for a little bit. Um, The Lost Bus. If it was from literally anyone else, I would be saying this would barely be on the list. But Paul Greengrass is probably the only guy who could pull something like this off about a bus going through a wildfire. Rebuilding. Um, don't know the director. Premise is okay. Josh O'Connor. Zootopia 2. Not too excited for this, but it has Ki Kwan. I don't know why I'm not excited for this. It's from like I think it's for the people who were behind the first one, and like I like the first one a lot, and I think there's a lot of room. I don't know. I just feel like maybe I'm pessimistic on it after Moana 2. The Librarians, documentary I'm actually excited for about librarians in the United States. Jimpa. with Olivia Colman and John Lithgow. I don't know the director, but premise is cool. Obex. Okay, Albert Burney. I haven't seen anything by Albert Burney, but I have heard amazing things. His movie is supposed to be extremely weird and like weird in a way that I would like. I think his first film is Fanny and something, Fanny and Birch or something like that. I think that's available for free on YouTube, and he made a video game as well. So, uh, Dog Man. I kind of want to see Dog Man. Like, I think it looks fun. I want to do a double feature of this and Wolfman. Bubble and Squeak. Um, that's just a fun premise. Helio. This is there's a lot riding on this movie in terms of original content, but I wasn't huge on Domishi's first movie, Turning Red, so we'll see about this. The Rivals of Amzia King. Andrew Patterson has only directed one movie and had a budget of I think $12,000, and he directed like a feature-length film that played at film festivals and stuff. So it'll be cool to see what he can do with an actual budget, but um, don't really know anything else about this. Song Sung Blue, directed by Craig Brewer. Um, would probably be much lower if it wasn't Hugh Jackman. Roofman, directed by Derek Cianfrance. Derek Cianfrance directed some good movies that I have not seen, like Place Beyond the Pines. Um, the story looks interesting. This should probably be a tier higher than this. I just watched Good One, which has Lily Colias in it, and she is incredible in that movie. Alto Nights, Barry Levinson, director of Rain Man, from a script from the guy who wrote Goodfellas, making a crime movie with Robert De Niro playing dual role. Ella McKay from James L. Brooks. I don't know why I'm as excited as I am for this movie. I mean, I got Iowa Devery's in it, so that's good. But I think it's because James L. Brooks was a producer on a movie I really liked a few years ago. Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret. Late Fame, directed by Kent Jones. Cool premise, cool cast. I don't know it. I don't actually know anything about Kent Jones, so it would be higher if that movie did. Rosebush Pruning. This is a fun movie, fun premise, fun cast. Don't know about Karima News. Outcome again. That I'm just not. I've seen one thing from Jonah Hill, which was a documentary, so it doesn't really count. But Keanu Reeves is fun. Father, mother, sister, brother. Jim Jarmusch anthology series. So, um, or maybe not anthology series, more intertwined stories. Good cast, good director who I've seen nothing from. The actor. This movie has apparently been in production hell for years. I guess it finished filming a while ago, but it's Duke Johnson, who is, I don't know if he was Charlie Kaufman's understudy or what, but they worked together on Anomalisa. So, um, could be quite interesting. Nuremberg, some of the Nuremberg trials. James Vanderbilt, but I should have done more research on him. I don't think he's a well-known director. Rami Malek, Russell Crowe, Michael Shannon. Russell Crowe plays Herman Goring, being interviewed by Rami Malek. It could go in any direction, but whatever direction it does go in, Russell Crowe will be having fun. The Mastermind, directed by Kelly Reichardt. This would be so much higher if I liked Kelly Reichardt. Um, and it's nothing against Kelly Reichardt. She makes the types of movies that I would make if I was a filmmaker. I just don't like watching those types of movies. So we'll see how her super slow paced, casual style like goes to the Vietnam War with John Magaro and Josh O'Connor, who are both perfect fits for her. Orphan, directed by Laszlo Nemes. I've heard his previous work is incredible. The premise is really good. I just not familiar enough with him to know what if I actually like him or not. Wizards, directed by David Michôd. I don't know if this movie is real. This has been like on my list for several years. I liked The King. I think Pete Davidson and Franz Rogowski being just wandering around a beach being idiots is a good premise for a movie. the Electric State, the Russo brothers. I obviously love their MCU stuff. I think they've been much more hit and miss. Well, I don't want to say hit and miss. They've been much more mediocre outside of it. But um, if this was coming to theaters, maybe I'd be more excited for it. But it might have that Netflix feel, but it does have Ke Huy Quan, which is good. The Prosecutor, directed by Donnie Yen. I kind of want to see this, and I'm going to be seeing this in theaters over the next couple weeks. Um, Fountain of Youth, one of the Guy Ritchie movies. Um, I think I'm more excited for this than his other one that he has coming out this year. I don't know if this is coming out this year actually, but Natalie Portman, what is she doing in a Guy Ritchie movie? Um, but yeah, this is like an adventure type movie that I think is a little bit different than his other ones that I haven't liked as much recently. Victoria, true story about an old lady who takes pictures of criminals. Um, Caught by the Tides. I have heard very mixed things about Caught by the Tides, but it seems to be a movie that if you've seen this guy's previous work, Giajonka, um, you're gonna really like it. Fuse, directed by David Mackenzie. Um, Watch, I can't remember much about Mackenzie. Aaron Taylor Johnson though, good. In the Gray, oh, another Guy Ritchie movie. This one I'm less excited for than the other one because it feels like more like Operation Fortune, which I didn't love that much. Hot Milk, directed by Rebecca Linkowicz. Never seen her direct, but I like her as a writer. Um, and yeah, I like Fiona Shaw too. The Carpenter's Son by Lotfi Nathan. There's another Jesus movie, but this one feels weird. It's got Nicolas Cage in it. I think he plays Jesus's dad. This could be a very funky movie that I don't think a lot of people are going to like that much. One of them days, not an interesting premise. Don't know the director, barely know the cast, but I've seen the trailer and it looks pretty fun. Growth, directed by Armando Iannucci. Iannucci, I really like his work in On Death of Stalin, and I think this premise is a really good fit for him. But I don't think it's coming out this year because it hasn't even been cast. All right, Tier 7. Let's speed through this even faster. There could be something special about these movies, but I'm not too excited for them. All right, tomorrow. That's about The Weeknd's new album, directed by Trey Edward Schultz, who is a accomplished director, but or one-time accomplished director. He hasn't made anything since his debut, Waves, a while back. Resurrection by Gone is he might be the most respected Chinese auteur at the moment. Um, Last Days, directed by Justin Lin, true story of a guy who believes he can save the souls of an uncontacted tribe in North Sentinel Island. 28 years later, I have not seen the trailer for this. Otherwise, I guess it would probably be quite a bit higher based off the quality I've heard. The only reason I'm not into horror at all or zombies, so the only reason it's even this high is because I think Jodie Comer is the best actor in the world right now. Pressure. Um, yeah, it's about Andrew Scott delivering a weather update to the army before D-Day. Train Dreams, Clint Bentley. This is from kind of the team behind Sing Sing, which I really liked. Tron Ares. Um, Joaquin Ronning is a pretty solid director. Nine Inch Nails doing the score. Greta Lee, immediately that makes it more interesting. If I remember correctly, the writer is a huge question mark, though. Jurassic World Rebirth. I'm not a Jurassic World guy at all, but I do really like Gareth Edwards as a director. Deliver Me from Nowhere. Probably a more unique music biopic than the other ones we're going to get, unless the Joni Mitchell one comes out. Eternity. I feel like this might fall into just being a pretty rom-com, but there's hope that it could be something deeper. My dead friend Zoe almost saw this last year. Um, it has a promising premise. The Woman in the Yard. Joe McComas Sarah, dreaming about Daniel Deadweiler to make an action movie. Actually, I don't know if this is an action movie. I don't know what this is. He makes very pulpy films. In The Lost Lands, Paul W.S. Anderson. We'll see this. It'll be cheesy and stupid, but it will be fun. Long Day's Journey into Night. This movie doesn't exist. Cleaner, from the director of Casino Royale, who's made a lot of bad movies for the last 2 years. Um, but with Daisy Ridley, so let's hope that this is something better than the other stuff he's worked on recently. And Taz Skylar. Oh heck. Um, why can't I remember his name? The chef from One Piece. That's him. Plain clothes. I like Tom Blythe and Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. Omaha. It has John Magaro in a lead role, therefore I want to see it. But that's really the only reason. A Working Man. This is just another dumb action movie from David Ayer and Jason Statham. It will be a fun 6 out of 10. Jupiter. Cool premise. Know nothing about it. The Housemaid. Paul Feig with Sydney Sweeney playing someone's housemaid. Paul Feig makes comedies, so I don't know what this is. Black News Terms and Conditions. Um, Only reason this is really on here is the writer. Um, Her name is Sadia Hartman. Yeah. And I read one of her books and I didn't actually love the book, but I think she is an incredibly smart, and it was a nonfiction book, but she's an incredibly smart writer. She puts a lot of effort into research and stuff. So this is going to be something interesting. The Thing with the Feathers, Benedict Cumberbatch, Land of Nod. I don't know if this is real, but it's got Josh Safdie and Elijah Wood as producers. Kyle Edward Ball is the guy who made that Skinamarink a couple years ago. Famous. Zac Efron, Bill Pullman, Phoebe Dynevor. Um, this might be a bad Netflix movie. I don't know if Netflix made this, but it has like it feels like one. Cliffhanger, another Joan Cumlet Sarah movie, with Franz Rogowski. Cool. It'll be pulpy action, whatever. Suspenseful. Baby Invasion, directed by Harmony Korine, who the top cast member is anonymous. Um, this look at that rating spread down there. Not many people have seen it, but every opinion under the sun is there. So I'm excited to see what the fudge this is. The Monkey directed by Osgood Perkins. It's horror, so it's not going to necessarily be for me. But Osgood Perkins was got a lot of claim for Long Legs. Onslaught. Adam Wingard. I haven't seen any of his movies, but he did the live action Death Note as well as the Godzilla Kong movies. It has H.A. Arona. That's the real only reason I might want to see this movie because the premise doesn't seem that interesting. Reflection in a Dead Diamond. Um, don't really know anything about this, but cool name. Young Mothers, new movie from the Dardenne brothers. Never seen any of them, otherwise it's probably pretty high. Oh, hi. I think this might involve the team behind Theater Camp. Just looking at the lead actors, but it will probably be a fun little comedy. Stitches, literally just here because of Angelina Jolie. I don't know anything else. The Minecraft movie. I might be looking forward to this in all the wrong ways, but I will be seeing this on opening weekend. Luz, directed by Flora Lau. This is a very interesting film. I just don't know anything about Lau. And it feels like the type of movie I will never get a chance to see. Brides, directed by Nadia Fall. This was, I think, on my list last year. Um, but it's a true story of girls who are join ISIS as teenage brides. Um, if I had legs, I'd kick you. Another Sundance film. All that's left of you. I think this is another Sundance film. Golden. Michelle Gondry, the director of Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, is here to do a Pharrell Williams documentary, not documentary, biopic sort of. It's I think it's going to be one of the better ones. It's just I've never actually seen a Gondry film. And Farrell, I don't find Farrell Williams particularly interesting. Twinless. Um, Two young men meet in a twin bereavement support group. Cool. Dylan O'Brien. I like Dylan O'Brien. By design, a woman straps bodies with a chair, and everyone likes her better as a chair. Cool. Fun premise. Sunfish. Another one where it's like, oh, this could probably be pretty laid back. Honey, don't. This would be much higher if Drive Away Dolls was a hit, but unfortunately, it wasn't very good. So we'll see what the second of his lesbian crime trilogy does. They're not actually connected; like they're all focused on two completely different characters and stories. But he called it his lesbian crime trilogy. This one has Aubrey Plaza in it and Chris Evans. So Suckwan Island. Um, I like that Swan Arlo and Alma Foisty are in here, and Woody Norman too. The Amateur. I saw a trailer, and the trailer actually looked really fun. But James Hawes is not a director known for really elevating anything. He makes kind of very baseline versions of the movie that is there. But Rami Malek, Florence Fisher, and Rachel Brosnahan, John Bernthal, Katrina Balfe, Michael Stuhlbarg, Holt McElhaney, Julianne Nicholson. This could be fun. I Want Your Sex. This just I don't think this is really for me, but Greg Araki is a very acclaimed director and has Cooper Hoffman. The collaboration. Another movie that's been in development hell for a long time. It's supposed to come out in like 2023. Um, could be an acting showcase for Bettany and Pope, but we'll see. Oh, I didn't realize Barrera was in here. Parthenope, another movie that was much higher last year. Reviews came out. Apparently, it's very well made, but is very poorly written. Him, don't know what this is. Echo Valley. It has Julianne Moore, Sydney Sweeney, and Domhnall Gleeson, and Kyle MacLachlan, and Fiona Shaw. Oh, it's a pretty good cast. Um, oh, I think Sydney Sweeney shows up to Julianne Moore's house covered in blood. That could be fun. Den of Thieves 2, Pantera. I just haven't seen the first one. This one actually looks pretty good. The End. Um, Movie I was very excited for last year. This would have been like tier one last year or tier two. Apparently, it's a bit of a miss, but musical set in a bunker 25 years after the end of the world with Tilda Swinton. Yeah. Tropical Gothic. That's another Isabel Sandoval movie. It's just a less interesting premise, and I think it's probably not going to be coming out this year. I don't know what this is. The Avenging Silence from the director of Drive, Nicholas Winding Refn. This might not come out this year. It doesn't have a cast. Falls Up, the new Peter Farrelly comedy. Paul Walter Hauser and Danielle Melchior. Um, yeah, that could be fun. Farrelly can't is a hit and miss with me, but this premise at least looks more interesting than some of his other ones. Basics of Philosophy is a Paul Schrader film. Um, it'll be very well written. It'll be very intelligently written, but a lot of people probably won't click with it. Um, also probably isn't coming out this year. Another Christy Martin biopic from David Michaud. It's actually probably more likely to come out than his other movie, Wizards. It's just a less interesting idea to me. I like Sydney Sweeney, but Guard 2. Guard 1 was fine. New director, which I think is a I don't know Victoria Mahoney, um, but I can't remember the name of the other director. She did The Woman King as well. Gina Prince Bythewood. Um, I think was a good fit. So I'll see. We'll see if Mahoney can keep it up. Uma Thurman's in this one. Animal Friends. Um, Only reason this isn't lower is because of the cast. Ryan Reynolds, Jason Momoa, Aubrey Plaza, Dan Levy. Um, yeah, The Accountant 2. I haven't seen Accountant 1. Mercy. Timur Bekmambetov. Um, Chris Pratt, Rebecca Ferguson. Action film. Bekmambetov doesn't have a great track record, but Pratt and Ferguson actually, but Pratt has a surprisingly strong track record when it comes to generic action movies. So, um, and Rebecca Ferguson has an excellent track record, so maybe this will be his first real hit. Isaac, directed by Josh Weber. Basically Dove Cameron. Alter. Um, oh, another movie that's only here because Lily Colias is in it. And I just watched Good One last week. Anaconda, from the team behind An Unbearable Weight of Massive Plan, the Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent with Nicolas Cage. There's a remake of Anaconda with Jack Black, Paul Rudd, and Daniela Melchior. It could be very fun. I just don't know anything about the original. You're cordially invited, directed by Nicholas Stoller. I wasn't huge on Bros, but Reese Witherspoon and Will Ferrell, Geraldine Viswanathan. Like it could be fun. Happy Gilmore too. Um, yeah, sure. Movies I'm not excited for, but I might watch them anyways. Anemone. This is from Daniel Day-Lewis's son, Ronan. Um, and it's Daniel Day-Lewis is coming out of retirement for this, and it has Samantha Morton. I just this screams Nepo baby movie, so Ronan has to really pull it off. The Wedding Banquet, directed by Andrew On. It's just not something that's too interesting to me, but I like Lily Gladstone. Paddington in Peru, haven't seen the first two, and apparently this is the weakest one. Hedda, but Nia DaCosta. I like Nia DaCosta as a director, but this is apparently going to have very state. This could have huge stage play problems. Like it feels like a play. Like I had that problem with the piano lesson. At the Sea, the Outrun with Amy Adams. Cool. The Wave. I've seen one Sebastian Lelio film that I thought was fine. Um, yeah. Alpha. This is going to be the most messed up movie of the year. Julia Ducournau directed Titan and Raw. Uh, but the lead actor, I mean, I don't think she's actually the lead, because Golshifteh Farahani is like 40. Um, it's Har Rahim, but it'll be one of the other actors down there. I think Rain Trigo Awaked. I think she might be the lead actually. This is going to be so messed up. I don't want to watch this, but also like I want to see what other people think of it. Golden. I think this might be that other movie I had here with Michelle Gondry, but like here again. Yeah, this absolutely is it. I don't know why this is on Letterboxd twice. Um, Power Ballad, John Carney. This would be a tier higher for sure. I have never seen a John Carney movie, but I've heard really good things. And I like Paul Rudd. Peter Hujar's Day, Ira Sachs. I don't know if Ira Sachs is going to be for me, but I like the cast. The Fishing Place, World War II drama that I think is might be Norwegian. Um, it's got a decent enough premise. It's just I don't know. I don't know much. I don't know anything about the team behind it. Splitsville, it's another thing that's might not be for me, even though I like the cast. Nana's from the team behind Dear Evan Hansen. The Secret Agent. It's got Wagner Mora. That's enough to put it on the list at all. Um, Midwinter Break. Leslie Manville and Kieran Hines play a very old couple who have relationship issues. I haven't seen Peaky Blinders. Rebecca Ferguson, Barry Keoghan. Ooh, I like the cast. Snow White. Um, only reason this isn't in the bottom tier, there's only one more tier after this. Only reason this isn't in the bottom tier is I think Rachel Zegler is going to knock this out of the park, and that Mark Webb is a competent enough director that this won't be a total disaster despite the dwarves. Flight Risk, I don't think this looks very good. No, apparently, actually, the only early reaction I've seen from it has actually been incredibly positive, but it's not enough for me to get over the fact that this doesn't look good. Inheritance with Phoebe Dynevor. I think that's the only reason this showed up. Marcelo Mio. This seems like a very personal movie that won't be for me. Rose of Nevada, George Mackay, Colin Turner. Cool. Heart Eyes. I mean, this is probably gonna be very fine. Um, Mike Flanagan has seen the movie already, so like I saw that he saw a couple of the earlier movies coming out later this year. Horror movies that are supposed to be quite good. So that's if he gives a stamp of approval, this could be something. But yeah, Armand, just not interested in this movie for some reason. Um, Despite Renata Reinsva, I mean, I'll watch it if it shows up. But Thanksgiving 2, haven't seen the first one. Gazer, I've heard very mediocre things, but it has Marcia Delaney, and I like Monsieur Delaney. Tinsman Road, don't know anything about this. Booze, don't know about that. Novocaine, it kind of looks like a generic action movie to me, but I like Ab River Mid Thunder. Funny Lover, it probably just won't be for me, even though I like Rachel Sennett. Ash, I don't know. I feel like if I watch this could be anywhere between a 0 and a 10. I don't know if this movie's real. Sontag, I don't think this is coming out this year. Karate Kid Legends, I'm not a Karate Kid person, but I like Ben Wang and Ming Na Wen. Directed by Christopher Landon. Haven't seen any of his movies, but I've heard good things. It's just I'm not into horror movies. Love Brooklyn. This, oh, this could be unique. I feel like this is a Sundance movie. Yes. I don't know if this movie's real or not. Bridget Jones, not a Bridget Jones person. Beneath the Storm. Tommy Vercola makes kind of dumb action movies. I like Phoebe Dynevor and Jamon Hansu. This should probably be a bit higher. Michael, this is the new Antoine Fuqua one. I don't know why I cut. There's a picture here. It has a poster. I don't know why I cut that off. But Coleman Domingo is hopefully coming for his Oscar for this one. But I'm just not excited for it because I've only seen Antoine Fuqua movies I don't like. And I'm very worried this will be a very by the numbers movie. Um, Hopefully I'm wrong. Hopefully this is something unique. Black Phone 2, haven't seen the first one, like Scott Derrickson though. The Ritual. Um, Not into exorcisms. Regretting You. Oh, look, another horror movie. Um, Josh Boone is a competent director. I think he tried his best with New Mutants, a movie that was never going to work. And he delivered on what I was looking for from that movie, which is Anya Taylor-Joy wielding a laser sword and fighting a giant bear. Um, Kenna Grace is a pretty good actress to be in here. Dave Franco, Allison Williams, Mason Thames, yeah. Downton Abbey 3, Rabbit Trap, um, Dev Patel, Vicious with Dakota Fanning, Back in Action. This is like the new Netflix action movie coming out in this month actually. It it doesn't I don't think it's gonna be very good because of the team behind it, but I like those actors. It's cool that they're back. Haven't been caught up with Star Trek for a while. But I like Michelle Yeoh. I am a defender of a lot of SpongeBob movies. But I have not seen the one that came out last year, and I never will. And it makes me very worried for this. Mortal Kombat 2, haven't seen the first one. Atropia. I don't know why I'm not interested in this. This should be something that interests me a lot more. Ricky. Um, Cheryl Lee Ralph. She made a great song, "Blood, Sweat, and Tears" for League of Legends. I hate League of Legends, but Arcane is incredible, and her character is in it, or or I should say, the character that she made the song for is in it. Um, DJ Ahmet. Don't know what this is. The Back Rooms. Oh yeah, this guy was 17 when he started work on this movie, and he got a bunch of money from A24 to make it. And I guess Sean Levy and James Wan. The fudge is this movie? The only reason it's not higher is because like I'm not into fan footage. Together, another Alison Brie, Dave Franco thing. Cannibalism maybe. Sauna. Another movie that might be very good and just not for me. assassination. This should be a lot higher because Barry Levinson, Al Pacino, Jessica Chastain, Brendan Fraser, Bryan Cranston, Jared Leto. I just hate conspiracy theories. And this is a movie that could eh, push the conspiracy theories. Gunslingers, Nicolas Cage movie. Two women. Um, yeah, this probably actually is going to be one of those highly acclaimed movies that a bunch of people get mad at for existing. Amber Light, Elizabeth Moss directing a movie about Elizabeth Moss, Puerto Rico. I don't know if this is coming out this year. Afterburn. This would be so much higher if J.J. Perry wasn't the one making it. Also, Olga Kurylenko should stop trying to be an action hero. She's a great dramatic and comedic actress, and she can't do action, and I hate that she keeps going into action roles. Zodiac Killer Project. This is a movie I'm probably not going to watch, but it's going to be a very unique film premiering at Sundance. Aaron Bode. Um, don't know if that's real. Don't know about that. Where the Wind Comes From. This just seems like a sweet movie. I want to check it out. I think it's Tunisian. Volcano Odora. This is going to be messed up. Serious, and probably not for me. Serious people. Um, I think this is another Sundance film that I'm not too interested in. Sons of the Neon Night, only interested in because that is an amazing name. Tonight at Noon. Um, yeah, I feel like my brain's starting to fry. I'm doing this rather late. Enigma. Don't know. Ballad of Wallace Island. Oh, Carrie Mulligan. Love Carrie Mulligan. The premise of this movie is not remotely interesting. Folk tales. Um, yeah, don't know enough. Lurker. I like Archie Madekwe. Middletown. I think this is from the team behind Boys State and Girls State. Um, yeah, Sasha Kiro. This is from a controversial anime director. I don't think he's done anything serious in a while, but The Toxic Avenger. Another thing that's probably not going to be for me, but Monsanto. Oh, Monsanto. Yeah, I saw The Founder recently and wasn't too impressed with it. Hopefully Laura Dern gets a little bit more this time. A little more to do. I like Glenn Powell and Anthony Mackie though. That's really the only. And I love how it's about Dwayne Johnson, but not it's not Dwayne Johnson. It's Dwayne Johnson. um, yeah. It's in another. It's in the same vein as The Founder, so it'll probably be at most a 6 out of 10. I don't think John Lee Hancock has the sauce to make something more interesting. Final tier. Not excited. There's like 20 movies in this tier. Chronology of Water by Kristen Stewart. Just not remotely interested in this premise. The Damned horror movie in your dreams. This is looks to be a pretty bad animated movie for kids, for very young kids. Odessa. Sadie Sink, Calvin Harrison. I should Murray Bartlett. Regina Hall. I should like this so much more, but this looks like a crappy rom com. Sarah's Oil. The premise should be more interesting. Um, the main issue that the director is known like has been accused of making very exploitative films previously. Um, and I don't know if Zachary Levi can pull off something outside as like Man Baby, which I don't know, maybe it'll fit the movie perfectly, but we'll see. Dan Warren Relentless, absolutely not. Peter Pan's Neverland Nightmare, even more not. The Unbreakable Boy, this is I I'm quite worried about this one. Um, John Gunn, I think most of it's faith based, so it could be very sweet, um, or it could be a disaster. Like it could be very sweet because I think John Gunn is known as a very nice guy, but we'll see if he can handle this. Night of the Zoopocalypse. This doesn't look good. Clown in a Cornfield. This doesn't look good. Final Destination Bloodlines. I'm not into horror. I'm not into horror. I'm not into horror. Um, I just I haven't seen the first one, and I have no anticipation for this. Oh, is Mark Harmon in it? Maybe I have a little bit of anticipation for it. Not into horror, 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 and apparently the first one was terrible. Not into horror. And then the final movie is Soulmate by Kate Dolan, who has not had a great track record. And that is everything.